Good afternoon and welcome to our weekly live coaching in the Bold and Successful Women's Business group. I am Heather Cameron, your host of the group and your host of our weekly live, and my passion is to help women entrepreneurs, women business owners create the client getting system that turns strangers into paying clients. So we are live today, and I apologize, I didn't get all the announcements out. I thought I did. I forgot. Honestly, I forgot to put the announcements out in the group. So if you're listening to this live, welcome. If you're listening to the replay, because I'm going to put the announcements out about the replay, welcome to the replay. So give me 1 sec just to make sure that I am live in the group so that I can see any questions from people who do join me. And again, I apologize for not putting out the announcements. There we go. I am live. So I wanted to talk about today the power of courage. Courage is the key to your success. And I want to give credit to the person who brought this topic to mind for me was Eliza. Eliza's in the group, and she did a post in her own personal page, I think, or in her group on the weekend. And she talked about courage with ease. Courageous ease. And I think that is so important. Do you have a courageous ease? And the reason this is so important is courage really is the key to success as a business owner. And you are already courageous. If you're already in business, if you've already put your stake in the sand and said, I'm running my business, whether it's full-time or part-time, you've already demonstrated a huge amount of courage. You know, there are not a lot of people from a population-wise who step up and do that. So congratulations for having the courage to create your own business and to work to create your own destiny and your own income and to have your own impact on the world. Congratulations for doing that. That is key to courage, right? You have had a very courageous moment. And for many of us, starting our own business doesn't come with ease. It comes with a lot of thought. For some people it does. Some people, they just step into it and, oh my God, I'm in my business and I'm doing that. But for many of us, it takes a lot of effort to create our own business. But you did it. So you've already demonstrated courage to your business, courage in becoming a business owner, courage in becoming an entrepreneur, courage in making money and doing offers and running something on your own. So congratulations for that. That is the first part of recognizing that you're courageous. And I think that if we recognize that we're courageous in that one moment, how can we be courageous in all the moments that come? How can we take that fierceness, that courage that we have, and how can you move it and use it in everything that you do in your business? So if you're listening live, say hi. If you're watching the replay, do #replay. And let me know, do you ever really think about your own courage and how that plays in what you do? And you already have it. You wouldn't be where you are if you weren't already courageous. But there's so many places that we're probably not taking and using that courage. And that's what I want to talk about today is how can we take the courage that you had in starting your own business and continuing to do it and do it with ease, which is what Eliza had in her comment. It's a long post that she put out there. But to have courage with ease in your business. And how important is that to so many aspects of your business? So it takes courage to run a business, not only to start a business, but it takes courage to continue to show up every single day and run your business. That's what Courage with Ease is about. It's about showing up every day and just being courageous and about stepping in and doing the things that maybe aren't always that comfortable, that stretch our limits. But when we get comfortable with being uncomfortable, it starts to be something that we just naturally do and we step into our power. And you all have the power to be courageous, right? You started a business. You're courageous. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a hands of applause. You've done that first part. So where else does courage play in your business? And when you start to think about this, because when I read Eliza's post, I started to really think about where does courage play in my business and where am I not being courageous at this moment in time and how can I step into that, right? So how can we step into courage and make it easy and just make it part of who we are, right? So number one is the starting of a business. I already talked about that. Number two is admitting you don't know everything. That takes courage to say, I don't know, I need help. Right? I don't know how to do this. I need help. That takes courage to do that. It takes courage to question your mindset and to be able to go in and change your mindset. It takes courage to seek answers to things that you don't know how to do. And they can be as simple as I don't know how to post on Instagram to get followers. Right? We can sit there because, we all sit in this old story that questions are dumb. I don't want to feel dumb. I don't want to feel stupid. I don't want to feel this, right? No question is a dumb question. But it takes courage to say, I want to do this. I want to get good at Instagram. And I'm just using it as an example. It takes courage to say, I want to get good at Instagram, and I'm going to go out and find out how to do it. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to try it, and it might not work, but I'm going to continually pursue that until I get good at this, until I learn the skills to do that. Right? I'm going to continue to pursue it until I'm able to do that. That takes courage, right? And courage is such a key component of what we do. It takes courage to seek help, right? In that I'm stuck. And so to me, this takes courage to admit that we don't know what we don't know tends to be more tactical and strategic. I'm not sure how to run a Facebook challenge. I'm not sure how to do that. But sometimes it takes courage to seek help when we're stuck. When we're stuck or we're not seeing the results that we want. It takes courage to stand up to that and say, hey, look, I'm doing this and I'm hearing crickets, or I'm doing this and I'm only getting about 50% of the sales that I want, whatever it is. It takes courage to say, I need some outside perspective. I need some help to change this. That takes courage, right? And that's what coaching is about, by the way. Coaching is not about us telling you what to do. A really good business coach is going to share strategies and ideas, but really they're there to support your courage, to allow you to step into that, to help you grow into the business that you want to be in. Because it doesn't work. And this is where, unfortunately, in the coaching industry, there are people out there who call themselves coaches who really are advisors and consultants. And a consultant comes in and tells you the way to do something, shows you the way that they would do it. That's much more consulting than coaching. Coaching is really helping you figure out the way that you're going to do it for you, and to give you some insight in how you can connect with that and help you get over the stumbling blocks. But they're not there to show you a prescribed method to do it. Now, nowadays, those are very much combined. And I would say for myself, I'm trained as a business coach. I'm also trained as a consultant. So the combination I offer is, and that's why I like to use strategist sometimes instead of business coach, because it's about creating your strategy by being a coach and being a consultant combined. And there's lots of coaches out there who don't have those combinations and they call themselves coaches, but they're really, honestly, they're advising you. They're giving you their consulting expertise. But that's not what this is about. But that just came out in what I was talking about. But it takes the courage to go out and seek that help. It takes courage to not be perfect. This is a really important one, and I wrote about that this week, is that perfection holds us back. And I was on a call last night with another coach, and she was talking about it as well, right? About getting that perfect title, about getting it perfect. So instead of putting something out in the world, we obsess about perfection. And when we're obsessing about perfection, it's our issue, not the person or people that we're trying to serve. It's our issue. We're not worried about them. We're worried about us being perfect. We're worried about us getting it right or not getting it wrong. So it takes courage to say it's good enough, and I'm going to put it out in the world because I know I'm going to be able to help at least one person on the end of this, email, on the end of this live, on the end of this blog post, on the end of this LinkedIn post, whatever it is. It takes courage to step up every time you put something out there and say, I know this is going to make a difference for somebody. And so it takes courage to not be perfect. And that sounds kind of weird because perfection is one of those things I think we all suffer with in our own dynamic. I used to say I'm not a perfectionist, and I'm not in about 80% of my life, but I can become very much a perfectionist in a working environment. In a situation where somebody's paying me, I want to be perfect for them. But that's me. They're already getting out of me. If they are hiring and working with me and they're happy with the results, me being perfect isn't key. Me being there for them and showing up for them every day or every time we interact and giving them the best of who I can be, that's what courage is. Perfection isn't courage. Showing up and being the best person that you can be for your clients and your future clients, that takes courage. It takes courage to take action. And to take action consistently. You'll hear it all over social media. Doesn't matter who you're talking about. Money's inconsistency, right? So if you talked about a visibility coach, a business growth coach, a mindset coach, a money, whatever it is, we're all going to talk about the same thing: consistency. Showing up and taking action, taking messy, impactful, massive action takes courage. And the people who show up and take messy, impactful, imperfect action frequently are the ones whose business is going to grow, right? Because they're walking in courageously. They're just saying, I'm going to try this, and if it works, fantastic. I'm going to learn. If it doesn't work, I'm going to learn. I'm going to try again, and I'm going to keep trying until I see the results that I want. That's where courage plays in your business, right? So when you think about, there's lots of stats out there about how many businesses don't survive. When you think about the ones that hang around and survive year after year, there's courage involved in doing that. It's not an easy road to take. Entrepreneurship has a kind of a glamorous thing, but it's not an easy road to take. It's not like knowing you go to work and you're going to get paid, right? It's not the same. There's some huge benefits from being entrepreneurial and being your own business coach, but it's not easy. So again, as I said at the beginning, this is courage. It's courageous for you to do this. It takes massive courage to do this, but you have to take action. Being courageous and hanging a shingle up and saying that you're a business and then not carrying that courage through everything that you do in your business isn't going to give you the results that you want. So you have it in you to be courageous. And that's what I so much love what Eliza said, which is courage in, sorry, not Eliza, Elsa. Elsa, if you're listening, I apologize. I always do that to your name. What Elsa said was courageous ease. So you want to be courageous, but you want to do it with ease. And so it's not about learning to be more courageous, because I think you have it. It's about learning to do it on a regular basis and do it with ease. So it's just part of who you are. You are a courageous person. Another really important part to be courageous is to stand for your clients. And this can manifest itself in many different ways. So you can be courageous and stand for your clients in the content that you create, right? You can make a stand, right? You can take a stand and say, whatever, right? Whatever you're in, whatever business you're in, you can take a stand for what you believe in. And you can be courageous for what is possible for your clients. Like, for example, for me, I 100% believe that women can create awesome, fantastic, profitable businesses, and they have everything they need within them to do it. I stand for that. I believe that. I believe that you can, doesn't matter whether you're product or service based or whatever, I truly believe that. But there's places that you can stand for your client in all of your steps. So if you're selling through a call, then you can stand for your client in that call. You can stand for them and believe and be courageous enough not to undercut what you're offering, not to waffle. You can stand for them in that moment. It takes courage to do that and to stand and say, I want the best for you, and I believe this is the best, and here's why. And it takes courage to stand for them and to allow them to make the decision. Without being salesy, without being pushy, it just takes courage to create the environment for them to make a decision that's going to change their lives. And I 100% believe that transformation is in the transaction. So it takes courage to stand to that. It takes courage to price your services and your products for what they're worth. And when you do that, you're honoring yourself and you're honoring the people who are going to buy from you. Because when they invest in something that's valuable, the more they invest, the higher the transaction, the more they're going to be all in. And it takes courage to find your sweet spot and stand for it. You know, there are people who charge $100 and there are people who charge $5,000. I often use the example of a candle. You can buy a candle at the dollar store for $1, or you can buy a candle at like Fifth Avenue Saks or Harrods or whatever for $100 or $500 or $1,000. God, I'm sure there's $1,000 candle out there somewhere. People, you know, it's a market for both of those. So it's not really about what you price. It's about being courageous in the prices and not thinking I'm not worth this, right? Because when you find the sweet spot of your price, sorry, and it's going to ring a lot because I got 3 phones here. Give me 1 second. Too many phones. There we go. So it takes courage to charge what you're worth and do it in a way that's valuable to you and to your future client, to find the sweet spot that makes sense for both of you. So it takes courage to do that, right? And this is why courage is so important. And courageous ease is just allowing your courage to shine through, because you already have it. You are already courageous people. So allowing that to shine through. So another part of being courageous is to stand for your client, to stand for what's possible for them. It doesn't matter if it's physical products or service-based. It's standing for what's possible for them and helping them come to the right decision. It's not forcing them to buy from you or anything like that. It's just standing in the moment and saying, this will help you do X. This is what it's worth. This is why it's valuable for them, and then allowing them to listen to their objections, because we all have objections, and stand for them and help them work through them. The answer may be they aren't going to work with you, but you're still standing for them. It takes courage to accept a no, right? That's another part about being in business. We are going to get rejections. It's not about us. When somebody says, thanks, but no thanks, I'm not ready to buy your X, Y, or Z, it's not about you, it's about them, right? So it takes courage to just say thanks and move on, right? You can't get hung up on the personal part of what it's about, because it isn't about you. It's never about you. It's always about them. So it takes courage to stand for your client. It takes courage to ask what you're worth. And that kind of goes in the same place. Whatever your product or service is, it takes courage to stand up and say, yes, this is worth this much, right? It takes courage to increase your prices. It takes courage to come up with creative solutions, right? Courage is that real element that's important to your business. It takes courage to show up every day. And some days you don't want to show up. And when I say every day, I don't mean every single day of the week. I mean every working day. It takes courage to show up every single day of your working day and to really work on your business, not to busy yourself out with activities that really, when you think about it, you're not making money from them. You're not standing there. So it takes courage to show up every day and be in your business, right? And you get to decide how many days a week that is. You get to, and it takes courage to do that and stand for it, right? Because we do get into that. I know for myself the other week, I always, since I started my own business, I really tried not to work on weekends. But now during the pandemic, it's like, hey, I'm here, can't do anything else. I might as well sign onto my computer and do something. So for a while, I got back in the habit of working on weekends, and I'm trying to get back out of it. But there are a lot of people in my industry who post on the weekends. And I kind of felt like I felt this have to. Right? I felt like I had to do this. And I'm like, no, I don't have to post on the weekends. That's not part of my business model. If I feel like it, if the opportunity's there, great, I can do that. I can spend some time, but I don't have to do that. Right? So it takes courage to create boundaries for yourself. Right? And this is why I wanted to talk about courage is the key to success. Because in all of these instances, it takes courage to make these decisions. Right? It takes courage to say, no, I'm going to turn my computer off. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to have weekends off. And there's a coach in Ottawa, I live in Ottawa, Canada, who I admire greatly. And she does that every weekend. And during the pandemic, she slipped out of it and she just started it again. And she posted, oh my God, how it feels to have a connectionless weekend, right? To go back to that thing. So setting the boundaries in our business is such an important part of creating a courageous business, right? Is having boundaries that we respect, that others learn to respect. And if people aren't respecting your boundaries, then you have the right to say no. So I had one client about 4 or 5 years ago, I guess it's been, who I tried not to have as a client. I honestly did. I worked really hard to not have them as a client. But they really needed help and they really wanted to work with me. So I said yes. And we had one session and then she started pushing my boundaries to the point where I said, no, like, here's your money back. This is not going to be a relationship that I want to pursue because you're going to push my boundaries. And when I first started my business, so I've been in business for 16 years. And when I was first coaching client, which was probably year 6 or 7 when I started using coaching as part of my business, I was doing leadership development and training and facilitation before that. I had a long-term client that I worked with, and I realized, hindsight being 2020, I had no boundaries with her. She would phone me anytime she wanted to, including when she knew I was at a funeral. I mean, that's how much I let my boundaries down. And in the result of this, it was a great working relationship for a number of years, and then it soured really badly and ended up with lawyers involved and all this kind of stuff, which was unnecessary, right? But part of that, I take responsibility. I mean, a lot of it was on her, but part of it, I take responsibility because I didn't have boundaries. I didn't have the right boundaries in place. Because I didn't, and when I look back, hindsight being 2020, I didn't want to lose the client. I didn't want to, because she was a great client. I made good money off of her and I worked really hard for her. The lawsuit ended when she accused me of stuff that was completely not true. But having said that, had I put boundaries in place, had I been really strong about the boundaries, about what was acceptable and unacceptable, I don't think I would never have gotten into the situation where that opportunity, where we ended up. It just wouldn't have happened because the boundaries would have kept me from that. So setting boundaries is really important in your business. And I think I'm going to do a whole new, I hadn't actually intended to speak about this, but I'm going to do a whole new thing on that, because setting boundaries is an important part of your business, right? And it takes courage to do that, to say, here's my thing, here's where I'm stopping. And I'm in a coaching program right now with a coach that I've worked with on and off. It's like a large program, and she's very good at setting boundaries, because people are asking for things that are not within the bandwidth of this particular program. So she not only sets boundaries to that, she leads into other programs that fill in the thing that they're asking for. So by doing that, she's setting boundaries. Everyone respects that. That's not part of the bandwidth of this course that you bought. But if you're interested in that, I've got another offer coming up that does that. It's a great way to manage your boundaries, but it takes courage to do that. It takes conviction and courage to do that, because this is her process, right? So I want you to think about where courage plays for you in your business. It takes courage to show up every day. It takes courage, and I said it takes courage to stand for your clients. It also takes courage to hold space for your clients. Sometimes you need to do that. You need to give them the room, especially as a coach, you need to give them the room to come to the conclusion, to see what's theirs. And that goes back into coaching. It really is an important part of it, of coaching, is to sometimes to pull back and stop giving people advice and listening to what they want to do. So I wanted to cover that. And I'd love if you're listening to the replay. For those on live, thank you for being on live. I really appreciate it. Since I didn't put this in the group, most of you don't know about it. I'll put it in afterwards. But I want you to think about, how does courage play? And if you can add it in the comments, that would be awesome. How does courage play in your business? Right? And are you, because you're all courageous. And I started this with this, and I will continue to say that you started your own business. You are courageous, right? So congratulations for that. But where are you not being courageous? Where is courage not coming to play? And then how do you do that with ease? How do you bring courage? Where are the places that you need to focus your courage? So this is another way of looking at, where in your business do you need to focus your courage? If you're afraid to go live, how can you use your courage? What fires up your courage is another great question to ask yourself. What lights a fire under you? What makes you courageous? What allowed you to start your own business? What was the passion and the courage that did that? And then how do you tap into that in other moments so that you can bring that to all aspects of your business? And then it becomes, the more you do anything, the more easy it becomes, right? So courage is no different than any other element that we bring to business. We have conviction, we have, there's just so many places that we have energy that we bring to our business. Courage is just another type of energy. So how do you bring that courage to your business on a daily basis? On your daily basis? How do you bring that into your relationships with your clients, with the people who work with you? How do you do that? How do you charge what you're worth? I mean, that, if anywhere, I guess the places where I see courage the most sometimes lacking for women is charging what you're worth. That's one. Is being consistent, recognizing that your message is worth putting out there, whatever business you do. That whatever you do, shine the light on it, be courageous, make offers. So it takes courage to make offers frequently, and you need to make offers frequently to grow your business, right? So how do you tap into courage? And that's what I would leave as a parting question for this, is how do you tap into courage? How do you bring courage to the table in everything that you do? And, it takes courage to admit you made a mistake. It takes, there's just so many places that courage is part of what we do. And it's something that we all have within us. And at some point in time, we're tapping into it. So how do you tap into it on a daily basis? And how do you do it with ease? Right? And I've spoken about, I keep using Robin Smith as an example, but Robin is someone who does amazing lives, but she has to really work herself up. She has to be courageous every single time she goes live, and she shares this. She has a ritual she does because she knows someone's listening, someone on the other side this might make a difference to. And she's very courageous about it. And if you saw Robin's lives, or if you ever see Robin's lives, this part of it wouldn't necessarily be obvious to you. And she shares it openly. So how do you bring courage to all those things? What is the point? What in your business right now requires you to bring your courage to it? Is it your social media content? Is it an offer? Is it raising your prices? Is it learning how to stand for your clients? Is it putting boundaries in place, right? Where do you need to bring courage into your business? Where, you've already got it. So where do you need to bring courage in your business? Just one. Pick one and work from there, right? Pick one. If it's making offers every week, if it's doing something to sell every single week, and you need to bring courage to that, then how are you going to do that? If it's raising your prices, then when are you going to do that? If it's changing the way that you do a call, if you're doing discovery calls or onboarding calls or anything like that, if it's changing the way that you do that, how do you bring courage into that? Right? So my question for you is, how can you bring courage into your work? Sometimes it's the courage to let go, which I didn't put in my list. There takes a courage to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I just had a client send me an email, and they said, they let go of something, and it was so freeing for them. And by letting go of something, another huge opportunity came in, right? So courage and letting go is also part of your business. If you've tried something and it's not working, and you tried it again and it's still not working, there's a difference between keep trying and improving, keep trying and improving, and having the courage to say, maybe that wasn't the best idea, right? Maybe that wasn't the best thing for me to be doing at this moment. So where in your business do you need to be courageous? And if you're listening to the replay or you're watching live, let me know, where in your business do you need to be courageous? And remember, the premise of this is that you already are courageous. You already have courage because you're a business owner. So right off the bat, you're courageous. For a lot of people, that's like, oh my God, you're doing your own business. That's really amazing. So where do you need to focus some of that energy? What part of your business deserves your courageousness? Hi, Tracy. Videos. So Tracy, you are one of the most courageous people I know. So I'm going to put that out there, and you're going to go, oh, but how can you focus your courage on creating videos, right? What is it that you need to support that? Because you can do what Robin does. So Robin, I used her as an example. Robin doesn't love, she has a ritual she does before any video, thinking there's somebody out there who this is going to make a difference to. So for yourself, Tracy, how could you bring your amazing courage to the table and say, I know there's at least one person out there who's going to find joy in me doing a video, who's going to find empowerment that they could use a technique or they could do something that they've never done before, right? So how can you bring courage to that, right? And instead of allowing the voices that are pulling us back, just say, hey, thanks, bye, right? I've talked about this before with fear. Fear is with us no matter what. So why don't we just say, hi, thanks for showing up today, but I don't need you today. I am going to be courageous Tracy today, right? So where do you need to bring courage? Because it's fundamental. And if you're a woman business owner, if you've hung up your shingle and said, I do this, I'm in business to do X, you're already really courageous, right? So how do you bring that into doing the things that you need to do? And what's going to light a fire under you to do them? So one is thinking about the thing that you need to bring courage to, and then thinking about how are you going to be, as Elsa said, courageous with ease, right? So how are you going to do this with ease? You just, how do you make it non-negotiable? So that would be a good question for you, Tracy. So how do you make doing videos just non-negotiable? It's what you do, right? Today I do videos, right? I do this video every Wednesday, and there's some days that I'm like, what am I going to talk about, right? But it's non-negotiable for me. I'm doing a video every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock. There are rare occasions I have to move it, but it's non-negotiable. It's just what I do. I don't think about it anymore, other than thinking about what I'm going to talk about. It doesn't mean that there aren't days that I don't particularly necessarily really want to do it. So what do you need to do to put in place to help you do videos, Tracy? Right? Where can you bring your courage and do that? So one great way to do this is to tell people you're going to do it. That's often the really great way to get over some of this stuff that gets in our way. So if you want to do videos and you're worried about it, one of the easiest ways to bring in your courage and kind of get yourself going is to tell somebody you're going to do videos. You'll do it. right? So if you put it out to your email list or you post in your group and you say, hey, I'm going to do this series of videos starting now. I'm going to do a video every whatever. That might help you do them. So think about, how can you do that? Would that help you, Tracy? If you told somebody you were going to do it, would you do it more likely? I think Tracy's still there. It's always hard to see who's on and off. So, don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that's what I wanted to cover today, was really that. You have me thinking, if I did a video day and told my clients, that would push me to do it. Exactly. So what about if you started, Tracy, with just one video a week? And what would you, and take a piece of paper, that's 52 topics. So take a piece of paper, say one video a week, and you're going to commit to doing it for the month of May. Right? So just start with the month of May, or start next week, right? For the next 6 weeks or the next 5 weeks, I'm going to do a video once. You can do a video a day. You can do, when I first started going live, somebody gave me a challenge of doing a live video every day. And when you do a challenge like that, it's great. And I did a challenge, I think it was March. I can't remember, it was March or January or February, I can't remember who it was. Somebody said, let's do a challenge. We're going to do one social media post every single day and report back. And that made me do one social media post every single day. But would you, where would you want to start, Tracy? Do you want to start with one video a week? Or do you want to do like a 2-week video blitz where you just say, I'm going to go in my group and I'm going to do a video every day for every whatever days you want to pick for 2 weeks? That's how you're going to form a habit, right? One of those is going to work for you. You just need to tell them, because I know you. For those who are listening who don't know, Tracy and I have known each other for a long time. I know you, that if you put it out there, you'll be there for your clients, and you'll be able to be there with your 100% fierce self, right? And it will be fun and entertaining, and they will love it. And so what would get you started? So my challenge to you, because I know you like a challenge, is what do you want to do? Is it going to be a video a week for the next 4 weeks? 5 weeks, 6 weeks? Are you going to do like a video blitz? Maybe you do 2 a week, or do you want to do 10 days in a row? Choose and then put it out there and do it, because you have amazing people who are waiting for you. Yeah, you need to figure it out and you need to do it. So yes, you know me, and yes. So just pick one. Don't overthink it. I am learning so much that overthinking doesn't serve us well. So don't overthink it. What feels right to you right now? What feels right for you? Doing a video once a week for the next 5 weeks, or maybe doing 3 videos a week? What feels right? What feels doable? What feels right? What feels something that you could do? What would be the best way for you to do it? Your clients would love, Tracy's clients love her. So they would love to see a video with you. It would be awesome. You would get good feedback. What feels right to start with? Once a week. For how many weeks? So what about Wacky Wednesday videos? That doesn't work as well. So, because just once a week, and then doing once a week, this is what you're going to do for ongoing, or are you going to put a time frame on it? But once a week, what day of the week are you going to do it? So we're going to do a little bit of, let's find Tracy's solution here. What day of the week are you going to do it? What's the best day of week to do it? There's a delay in this, and then Tracy has to type. So there's always a double delay. So what's the best day of the week that you're going to do it? And then just put it out there, right? What's the best time and day for your clientele? So in your case, your clients, maybe it's an evening video, maybe it's a weekend video. And remember, by the way, if you do a video, what I want to always impart on people, trying to come up with a title. Titles are fun, so don't get stuck in the get the right title either, right? So one of the things I want to talk about quickly on videos is, like right now, Tracy's the only person watching me, I think. There's been people coming and going. There's going to be a lot of people watching the replay. So when you're doing videos, it's not about who's here listening to you live. It's about who's going to listen to it in the lifetime of the video. And it's always important to remember that if you're going live and you're going live in a group, I'm in groups. I was listening to someone last night. She has a group of 15,000 people, and there were only 4 of us on the video. So proportionally, Tracy 1 to my number and 4 to hers. I have a better show up rate. But it's the replays. It's the people who are watching but don't comment. It's all of that stuff that provides value. If I start something I don't usually start, not sure of the day of the week yet. So when will you want to decide? When do you want to start? And I'm pushing Tracy, and you can tell me to stop pushing if you want. So if you want to start, just start. The title can change, by the way. It's nothing set in sand. Because I know I can get hung up on getting it right, and trying to get the right title stops me from doing what's valuable. So the title can change. The title can not even have a title. It can just be Tracy's Weekly Live. And then, like, I call this my Weekly Live Coaching. And then the title of the coaching changes with each email. But I don't have a title for it. So it doesn't have to have a title. It can coincide with your Wednesday, your Wacky Wednesday. It could be any time you want. Remember, the replays are what people watch as much or more than live. You want to show them up live, great, but it's not an essential part of it. May should be good. So that gives you a week. So if you're going to start on May, that gives you a week to come up with some titles, some topics, and put it out there. Because if you start putting it out there this next week, so you start telling your audience next week that you're going to do this in May, then you're going to build up some anticipation, which is always great. So you can say, hey, I'm going to start this in May, and that goes out next week. So that's you being courageous, right? Because once you put it out, you'll do it. So your moment of really stepping into your courage, Tracy, instead of saying, your moment of stepping in your courage to really bring it up and allow yourself to be courageous is going to be sending the email that tells people about this, because that's when it becomes real. You can put it on a calendar, you can do anything you want, but posting in your group, posting on your personal profile, and sending the email to your amazing responsive list to tell them that you're going to do this, that's the moment you need the most courage. And then once you do that, you're going to show up, because you will. You'll show up every single time you go live for them, and it will do wonders for you. So your moment where you've got to tap into your amazing courage, and you are an extremely courageous woman, is that moment to send that email, to post that post. Is that helpful, Tracy? Because I think you can do this. You know, there's nothing about perfection when it comes to this. So if you can do that, if you can step into that courage, then you're going to start to do those videos. It will help your business. So hopefully that's helpful. And to think about that. When are you going to send that email next week? And if you commit to me, you'll do it. Then I'll bug you about it. So think about that. And I was just waiting for Tracy to type, but I won't pressure to type a comment. So that's what I really, having this discussion with Tracy is a great example of why courage is so important. I know I have to get doing this. I have even bought a few items for videos, and now I have to get going. But yes, need the kick you are so excellent at giving you. So when are you going to do it? So that's my question. What day next week are you going to announce this? And then I'm going to bug you about it. But this is an example because Tracy is a wonderful, courageous person. And we hold ourselves back with whatever stories we're telling ourselves. And it's about bringing courage. Bringing that courage to the table and just saying, yep, despite all the things my fear is telling me, despite all the stories I'm telling myself, despite all the things that I'm bringing myself down, I am going to be courageous today, and I am going to do this thing. And I'm going to stand for the topics and for the things that I talked about earlier. So for those who weren't on at the beginning, you can go back and rewatch it. But really what I covered is that it takes courage to run a business on a daily basis. And everybody who started a business had courage. So you came here with courage. You had courage to start a business. You are courageous to run a business. So where do you need to tap into the courage that you have to do the things that are really going to help your business? You need to be courageous to stand for your clients and customers, whatever that means, right? So take that courage that keeps you going. Tracy's been in business for how many years, Tracy? Hi, Karen. Karen showed up too. Take that courage and run with it. You need courage when you need help. You need courage when you need accountability, right? It's just one of those things that's really key to our businesses. You need courage to charge what you're worth. You need courage to try something different. Let me practice at making some videos this weekend, then make my first ones after that. And yes, you can hound me. I will hound you, Tracy. And you don't need practice, honey. You really don't. Just go for it. Your audience loves you. They are not going to care if you screw up in your video. They're not going to care if your video camera falls over. They're not going to care on any of that stuff. You have an audience that loves you, right? So don't worry about that. They're not going to care about that. They just want to hear from you. They want to see all the amazing things that you can show them that they can't go physically see right now, right? So just go with it. If you need to practice, one way to practice this, by the way, Tracy, in a really easy way, is create your own Facebook group that nobody else is a member of, or invite one other person, and then go live in that fake Facebook group and just get used to the technology so that you're not going live in a group of everybody. You're just going live in a fake Facebook group. That's a great way to practice it. Or invite one or two friends to the group. Invite me and Glenda or somebody else to your group, and this just becomes your practice live group. And so it gives you an opportunity to get used to the feeling of it, to get used to talking to nobody or talking to somebody, because often I go live and there's nobody else there. So if you want to practice, try that, because then at least you're practicing in the live media, but you're doing it in a secure way. So you can create as many groups as you want. So you can have the group private and invisible so nobody can find it, but it just gives you the opportunity to practice in that environment. It's just an idea. I have my own little test group that I do some stuff in before I post anywhere else, because it just gives me the chance to practice it and see if it's working, make sure that all the bells and whistles or whatever, is going well, and you can practice that way. So just a hint for you. So if you're listening to the replay, #replay, let me know, and let me know how you're going to be courageous. And Tracy, thank you for letting me use you as an example, but let me know how you're going to bring courage. Like, where is it that you need to tap into the courage that you already have and apply it to something that's holding up? Is it showing up every day? Is it standing for something and really doing that? Is it doing videos like it is for Tracy? Is it raising your prices? Is it getting better at that onboarding call where you need to be courageous and stand for what's going on with your client? So that's it for today. And Elsa, if you're listening or you listen to the replay, thank you for prompting this idea. It came from a post that she posted on her personal profile, I think. And that's it for today. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'll be back next week for our weekly coaching live. Have an amazing week, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.